Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. OnChain Revolution. Guns. Boom.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the On-Chain Hour, and right now, we got Bitcoin sitting at just above 102. Let's talk about this for a second. So yesterday, we had this fake tweet from President Trump. Gordon Gecko posted it, and it was basically Trump saying, alt season is coming. And it was so weird. Turns out it was fake, whatever. But we did pump on that. I'm not exactly sure if that was the main reason, but I couldn't find any other reason why we pumped last night. It was nice to wake up to 105 and, sitting at the desk, getting ready for the show, just dripping down to about 102. I'm pretty sure we crossed into the 101s, but I'm not really worried. Today at 4 p.m., we have the vote of the Senate to pass and reopen the government. That'll be driven to Trump to get signed tonight. Tomorrow, potentially, we will have the CPI data, which I think is going to come in very light in the terms of inflation. I'm not seeing prices going up right now. I actually see less people at the grocery store. I see less people in all these stores that I go to. I don't know if, maybe that's just Philadelphia. I don't know. But right now, I'm thinking the CPI is going to be dropping here, which means it gives room for the Fed to cut. There's rumors that there's 7 Fed people that want to vote for 50 basis points now. And a lot of them want to get on Trump's good side because, soon Trump's going to be picking a new chairman. And if they're voting against what he wants, they're not going to get picked, right? So Trump has 3 to 4 people. They're all on the board right now. And one of the 4 will be picked to take over Jerome Powell's job. Jerome actually will not be getting fired or leaving. He actually just becomes a board member. So he'll still have a vote even after he is released in May. I actually just found that out recently, which is pretty crazy. So, it's a lot of macro stuff. And right now, it's really hard to find crypto news, interesting stuff. Like I'm searching everywhere. It's just not a fun time to be in crypto right now. But this is the time that really separates the people that are really going to make it and the people that don't. If you're checking out right now, if you're touching grass right now, you're not going to make it. I'm sorry, you're not. You need to be in this every single day. You need to be understanding what is happening every single day, because when the floodgates do open, you're going to be on the ground floor of something special. I know I say that a lot, but this is just something that I truly believe. I believe crypto is the foundation of the new financial system. And if we're the foundation of the system, there's going to be a lot of money to be made here. I'm thinking you were technically in like 99, right, of a huge crypto cycle that could mimic the internet from those days, right? So I'm really excited. I really am. Even with the downward price action, whatever, the lack of news, the lack of new stuff, I'm still really bullish. And I think you should be too. But let's get on with today's show. There's a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of stuff happening. So without further ado, we bring our partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? How you feeling with this 105, 102 bullshit that we've kind of been sideways into?
Well, I can tell how you're feeling about it. I'm okay with it just because I've prepared myself mentally for the chop back and forth, and I think I've put that message together pretty clearly the past this week, right? And so seeing us back kind of swinging to the downside, no shocker there. If we do break down below 100K, let's see where we go, right? I'm not worried because I know with Bitcoin, we just got to zoom out. And I'm paying attention to some other things that are happening, within Solana ecosystem, within the Bitcoin ecosystem. Those are, in my opinion, the two most active right now, that builders and things are trying to get going, right? And so that's been pretty fun to research things. But I agree, right now is the time to research, even though it's quiet, right? Figure out what's happening. Are there narratives changing within ecosystems? Is there a movement happening? Because the way that we've kind of gone into this almost like despair area, there's a lot of traders not happy in trying to figure out where the next opportunity can be. And so I think that's a really important thing to focus on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's not where we are now, but where we're going for sure. And that there is some stuff that is happening. It was pretty easy to find for you. You've been somebody who's been digging deep into the research of what is happening, being really on the ground floor, not doing anything like gambling aspect of it, but really understanding, trying to learn and understand what's going on. So let's kind of get into our first topic, where you're the guy for this one. America.fun takes over. Fair launch hype could challenge PumpFun's reign on Solana. So break this down for us. What is happening over on Solana right now?
So there is a question mark in front of the exclamation mark. So it's like takes over. It is something that I've known existed for a bit. Went to their website, America.fun, checked it out. It definitely gives you like Windows 98 vibes in terms of UI and design and stuff. But so let me kind of break that down. I know I touched on this a little bit yesterday as well, but it's a launch pad on Solana that is focused on two things. I think one of the main things is really giving exposure to USD1, right? So that is something that WillFi is trying to really promote and push out adoption for USD1. And the America.fun Launchpad does that. Every coin that launches there is paired with USD1. The second part, and this might actually be more of a priority to them as a team, but the second part that I noticed is that what they're trying to do here is curate the launches, because it's so different than Pump.fun and Bonk.fun, which is just all about volume, pushing out all these meme coins, which, as we know, when it comes to rarity, the more items that are in circulation, the less rare it is, right? And so they have a total of 3 coins that have launched with their launchpad, and they take their time with it. In fact, I mentioned this yesterday on the show. If you want to launch with America.fun, there is a Google form that you put information in, and then they kind of guide you through that process, is what it seems like. So I'm trying to get one of the main advisors to the project, and he's actually one of the main advisors to WillFi. Actually, he's one of 21 people that the WillFi X account follows. So I think he's definitely plugged in somehow with that team. Trying to get him on the show. I think we might be getting somewhere with that, which would be amazing. But anyways, getting back to this launchpad, right? So it's really trying to have these principles of, look, not everybody is technically savvy, right? And so you have the boomer age group people, and there's a lot of veterans and stuff in there. And that's, going back to yesterday, they did launch a coin called Patriot, and you have people that aren't in the know with all these sniper bots and all the tech that people are using, so they feel disadvantaged. They don't want to go into Solana markets because of that. So their idea is to say, hey, look, it doesn't matter if you're like super advanced or not. Like, we want a place to where you can feel comfortable going into a meme coin, or one of these coins that have kind of movement behind it, right? And but what that does is it kind of does limit your coins that you're going to be launching, because you're curating them, you're going through a process of screening, et cetera. But another positive, though, it does add like the conviction component to it, because out of the 3 coins, I think the lowest market cap is right. That's 600,000. And then you're talking about, the highest being at 5.2 million. And the second was the one yesterday at like 1.6, 1.3 million, right? So they're more sustainable in that aspect. Now, it's almost the anti-pump fund, right? And so I talked a little bit about this yesterday. They kind of poked a little bit fun of PumpFun's, saying, you know, no pump November in their with their X account and things like that, right? Now, will this change the culture on Solana? I think that's going to be really hard to do because Solana has been this way for quite some time. Even before Pump, not as bad, not nearly as bad. And when I say this way, I mean, you know, not being able to hold things necessarily. But what it can do is let people know that there is a place to go to that you can feel like if you can sleep on your coins a bit, right? Like you don't have to constantly wake up, look at your phone and be worried that the token went to zero necessarily, right? It's not guaranteed, but they're trying to give a more safe feeling with that. And so that's what they're doing here. And I'll kind of show their website real quick so people can see what I mean by, you know, it kind of having that older feel, but like the tokens also that they only have, you know, so they have this one called Burger that launched, I think was the first one on the launchpad that launched. And then they have the AOL token, which is the platform token. And I think they actually launched this through Bonk's platform. And so that's where I think there's a connection there. And then they have Valor, which launched about a month ago. And then the most recent one, Patriot, that launched yesterday. But if you see here, and this is America.fund for the people wondering what the website is, it says America.fund is the special projects arm of Bonk. And then it says World Liberty 5 Financial and Radium, built to power USD1 adoption and spark the next era of America-aligned innovation. So very, very patriotic type of theme tokens here. But I'm curious on your perspective on the breakdown.
Yeah, 100%. So the only thing that bothers me is playing on the American thing. I get it, right? But it does feel like, you know, Pump Fun and stuff is worldwide. There's a lot of Indian, a lot of Chinese, a lot of, you know, Asian players that I don't think are going to participate in this. And when you exclude, you know, some of the biggest whales in the game, you know, from India and China, I just feel like these guys aren't playing. So these tokens right now are just going to be either sideways. I don't know if they can get the pumps that we've seen from other tokens. Does that make sense?
So I see what you're saying. I think the big test would be whenever the market recovers, right?
Yeah.
You had Valor, and I believe the all-time high of Valor was, I think it went to 17 million, maybe not, maybe less than that. Let me see if I can get the hour chart working here. Okay, so it went to about $15 million market cap. So that's not bad, right? And this is about a month old. So I think, you know, when market conditions get better, it's something to pay attention to. Also, I don't know what kind of support that they might be getting from WillFi, you know, because they are part of this USD1 campaign that they're a part of, right? The guy that's kind of leading the charge on crypto Twitter is Ogle, is his X account name, right? Ogle, and that's the guy that's one of 21 people followed by the WillFi account, and the other people are like Don Jr. or the founder of WillFi. I think Justin Sun is the one that I was like, okay, which one doesn't necessarily belong? But I mean, he I guess he does belong because he's, you know, multi-billionaire.
He's the biggest holder.
Yeah, true. But one of 21. I mean, that to me, that's a big deal. And I know people kind of overvalue follows and stuff like that, but when there's only 21 and you're talking about like that, so there has to be some sort of connection there. Now, what is the test to me is going to be whenever like the market rebounds, right? Also, you know, the liquidity attraction, other than maybe they get some campaign help or something from WillFi. This is all speculative for the audience that's listening in. Who can they attract to this that's retail, right? I think it could be maybe like some of that, the older generation, the boomer generation. Maybe they want to park some money to have something fun with crypto. This could be that. Also, the connections, something like Patriot, you know, Patriot does the fees that they raise from the LPs, they're giving to, like, I think there's 4 different organizations that they were voting on today. So when you have these type of connections, is, would there be like a direct connection to donors and stuff like that that's trying to get tax write-offs, trying to donate to veterans, right? So I think the vote was Disabled American Veteran, Fisher House Foundation, Folds of Honor, and Wounded Warrior Family. So we know that the donation meta with PumpFun and Bonk necessarily didn't, really do great. But whenever you're kind of being powered by WolfEye and this whole, whatever those connections could be, that could be a totally different situation. Like, again, this is completely speculative and stuff like that. So, there's nothing official of anything that I'm saying could happen in the future. But that's something that could be an advantage. But in terms of the degen, the kind of I want to get in and get out type of person, they're not going to come over here. And I think they don't want them over here, which is, kind of the whole point.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if there's enough, because it seems like they want the Doge holders. They want the Shiba people. They want, the Pepe people, right? They want the strong holders who are in this for a reason. They don't want the, in my opinion, James Wins of the world over here and kind of playing in this ecosystem and, and just pumping and dumping and stuff like that. But I don't know if you can do that with meme coins anymore. I just feel like,
yeah,
I mean, you definitely need the right marketing conditions, but I just feel like today's age, I just feel like, people are always looking for the next thing.
Yeah, so I think that is the mindset of a lot of these Solana traders, for sure. I mean, but it's the reason why when things in the market take a bit of a turn, that it gets really, really bad, right? I saw multiple posts on crypto Twitter yesterday saying the meme coin sector is similar to the 2022 NFT sector. And if you think about that time period, who was everybody blaming the downfall of NFTs on? Do you remember?
I mean, no.
Blur.
Oh,
Blur.
yeah, because they had that. 2022, yeah.
Right. They were saying that they were their model, their incentives and stuff were not aligned to actually have a true strong collector community for NFTs. And whether there's truth to that or not, that was the entity that was being pointed at in terms of the failure of NFTs in 2022. And I think Pump is getting kind of that Blur, situation happening. But again, to change that, you got to bring conviction back, and market conditions definitely do need to come back to a better situation. Because we really haven't even been in a true risk on environment. It's been memes, like really risky memes, and that's it for the risk side, which is crazy because it's totally on the edge of the spectrum. But we'll see what happens with this. And you do have PumpFun, rumors with multiple KOLs connected to PumpFun, putting out, hey, there's this new mayhem update that's supposed to, benefit traders more instead of the deployers. And so that was actually the rumor was it was supposed to go live 7 a.m. Eastern time. Didn't go live. In fact, I think a lot of people got wrecked because they were anticipating it. So it's almost kind of like they find ways to extract from people, even though like people were like, well, it's not their fault because people just assumed. I mean, it was all over crypto Twitter last night.
Yeah.
So the PumpFun official account could have came out and cleared things up.
So what is this? Where'd you hear about this? What is this mayhem?
So I first saw it from the good old Kook account, right? He posted about this, and it says, hearing some rumors that PumpFun is launching some major changes today. So this was late yesterday. The bonding curve program will change, which I read in the documents. The bonding threshold is much lower. Okay. So is that good or bad? And so then it says, and they will be introducing a new format called Mayhem Mode. And so here are some of the highlights: migrating new launches to the Token 2022 standard. So that's supposedly the new standard that gives the developer a lot of free control in the dashboard, the PumpFun dashboard, to do burns with the fees, distribute the fees to all holders, click of a button, airdrops to people, click of a button, you can do the percentages and all this. This is what is being speculated. Okay. It says allows for token tax and auto burns. I just talked about that. Automated fee distribution. Devs can do airdrops. It says mayhem mode will allow tokens to bond 1/3 of the liquidity. So if it was 65 SOL, you're talking about 20 something SOL now to bond. Does that make a difference? There's a psychological thing there with bonding, so we'll see. It says 20 SOL right here versus 85. It says these are all rumors, so he did clarify that, so I'll give him credit for that. He says, but if true, he's bullish. And so basically, that's the extent of it, right? And so
real quick with,
cool.
with Pump Swap, right? There is no difference. There is no technically there's a graduation period, but like there is no like migration time downtime. It's kind of like it's the same exact thing. It's almost like there really isn't no graduation. It's just kind of a figure of speech, kind of, right? Like I don't know. It like with Pump Swap, it feels different than it does when they were using Radium.
Yeah, there's not a migration whenever you launch directly on Pump Swap, I don't think. But most people use the pump mechanism of migration.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean you have that opportunity to do that anyways, to do with that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So when you cut it, you're just saying, hey, it's technically graduated. We're just taking, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean 0-0, right? Yeah. So like it's like whether you take me to 0 quicker or later, you're still taking it to 0,
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the people's arguments, is that they don't think that this is going to change things. It reminds me a little bit of whenever Binance tried to change their kind of mechanisms with using Binance, like the centralized app with 4.meme, and they called it something else. Meme something. Yeah, no, not Binance Alpha. Okay. It was called memes, not meme scope, but meme something, right?
Gotcha.
And then they said basically they were making it more fair and all these things. It didn't work. Actually, the first couple of tokens didn't even, maybe one bonded in the very beginning and then went straight to 0. So I just don't have a ton of faith that this is going to help much, but I mean, at least they're trying something different. We'll see.
Makes sense.
If it's even true.
All right, let's jump to the next thing here. Well, before we do, any last words on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be watching America.Fund, see how they kind of gain their momentum. Hopefully we can get Ogle on the show and ask him some questions, and see maybe what the future plans are for the launch pad and how they can separate themselves, because they're all obviously their strategy is to say, hey, we're a safer place to go. Do they think they can continually build momentum up from that? Because if they have a good strategy for that, it could be something special.
For sure. Yep. All right. The next thing here is a fake tweet from Trump yesterday. I don't know if you've seen this, but yesterday Gordon posted, and a bunch of other KOLs, they posted, in office, people ask me every day, Mr. President, when is altcoin season? Well, folks, I'm giving it to you right now. So this went viral yesterday, and it ended up being fake because obviously, Trump's not on Twitter. So you have to just kind of trust the fact that people are grabbing it from, truth.social, whatever it is called, Truth Social. And this ended up being fake. But, if you got haters say it's going to fake, but it's one of those things where it did pump. It felt like this was the reason pump more. I don't know why the market's pumped yesterday, but it went from like 102 to like almost 106. After I saw this. So I'm going to just say this is one of the reasons. And I looked for this was true. So I immediately didn't find it. But what do you think about this fake news? I mean, anything can pump markets right now. Fake news is pumping markets.
I don't know, man, but like, hopefully he got some backslash for that. He could be like, oh, I was just kidding. But I don't know if he has that much motion. Who did have that kind of like motion in the last bear market was Kobe. Remember, he would literally post something about the CZ Interpol chase down, and the markets like crashed super hard from that. That actually wrecked a lot of people in leverage.
It did.
But depending on the size of the account, of course, like there's a certain level of responsibility you got to have. I'm not sure how big Gordon's account is, but I know he has some influence within the meme sectors. I just don't know if it's that grand.
Yeah, it was nice though to see 105 yesterday. It was, but it is what it is. All right, let's move along though. The great Richard Hart tweets yesterday He basically let me bring this tweet up. So yesterday he came out with this tweet. This is just went live. So it's provex.info. He gave an address with sacrifice address. You are sacrificing your coins to make a political statement. You believe in capitalism, the removal of middlemen and replacing trust with proof. You are sacrificing your coins to prove you're serious about the belief. You have no expectation of profit from other work of others. You understand what you sacrifice can be sold and will receive no benefit for it, right? But then you keep reading, he says they don't want no pulse, no PulseX, no ink, no hex, nothing from the Pulse chain network will be allowed, which was, in my opinion, a little weird. And he said the max bonus is 3x. And then he kind of says, what might be airdropped for free to those addresses, notice proving their belief in the political statement. And then a question mark, which is weird. But anyway, my jackass actually went and I sent Richard Hart some money just in case, because he did take hex and he 10,000 X hex. And, it's not coming up right now. It was coming up earlier. This website's a little buggy, but if you kind of go to site here, you can see that just under $500,000 has been sacrificed so far. The last day to sacrifice will be January 9th. Right now, you get the max amount, and then every single day you wait after December 3rd, you lose in more and more and more points here. So I'm guessing the Prove X is going to be a token. There's going to be some project around it. They do have an X account. ProveX, and the X account says like and retweet if you think Richard Hart should do a live stream. We do know when Richard Hart was doing live streams with Hex would 3-4x during the live streams. Like it was some of the most insane. I wasn't even a holder of Hex at the time, and I was watching Hex just absolutely explode while this man with these like Satan candles and necklace and stuff. It was absolutely insane. But down here, whatever it's basically says. Richard Hart, like and retweet if Richard Hart should do a live stream. You go back to the Richard Hart account, and he did say something on the lines of if I were streaming video right now, which I'm not, and won't until I've written some pages of text I've been putting off, maybe a day or two. So he's saying that he's going to go back to streaming in a day or two. But you saw yesterday, a lot of people selling down Pulse Chain, down 16%. To switch into Ethereum and send Ethereum to these accounts. So you saw a huge outflow of Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX, everything on Pulse Chain just dumped hard because people were converting that, getting that into Ethereum, bridging it to Ethereum network, and then sending it to this address here. And you can kind of see it here. Absolutely insane. Give us a quick refresh because it's been a few hours. But yeah, so you're seeing over $500,000 sent to these addresses. Absolutely crazy that this man can just get people to send $500,000 in a few hours. Honestly, it's only been like 12 hours since this went live. But how do you feel about this? And do you have any interest in potentially sacrificing some coins to I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why I did it, but I did it.
So I think he was smart to not accept PulseX and Hex and all the other coins because he didn't want to be blamed for those prices going down. So really smart move by him. He just put it on them to sell it down into ETH, right? Which he could get some of that blame too. But no one's gonna blame him about ETH's price, right? Because it's not gonna affect it that way. But anyhow, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I don't know, maybe $50 or something like that, just to kind of lotto scratch ticket or something like that. But it's interesting because he's done this before. But one of the things also, because I actually think $500,000 for 12 hours is not much in this market. In this market, it is. But if you think about last cycle, I feel like 12 hours he could have definitely raised like 5 million. And it does go to show the liquidity difference that we were in 2020 and 2021 versus now, right? And so we need liquidity bad. This is like a perfect indicator for that, right? It's letting us know that he was only able to raise that much. With people knowing what kind of push and motion he has. So hopefully that comes to the space sooner than later. But yeah, we'll see what happens and what comes of this project, right? it could be smart because maybe not many people are going. This is going to win. You can sacrifice.
January 9th.
Okay, so that was also pretty smart by him because market conditions can be much better by then. So there's probably gonna be a lot more by then, I think, in there. And yeah, we'll see how it plays out. It might be one of those good plays because the market could recover like tremendously next year, and then now you're getting this thing that's kind of riding the coattails of the market sentiment.
Yeah, and you know the early, he's given everyone a month, right? Potentially today's the 12th, so giving everyone until the 2nd of December, so a little less than a month, giving you about 20 days to get in, and you get like if you get in today, I get in next week, we're getting technically the same amount of points, and people are saying like each point is going to be one token because there's going to be like an insane amount supplied depending on how many points there are, and potentially if whatever the amount is, you're gonna, I don't know if let's just say this comes out at a $5 million market cap, $10 million market cap, whatever it is. I think he could take it to $1 billion. Like, I think Richard Hart is one of the greatest cult leaders that ever exist. I feel like this guy, I mean, you have guys like Murad saying, you want to get into cult like coins. Murad got that because he's seen what Hex did, right? Hex is the ultimate definition of a cult coin. Like, it is the #1 cult coin in the world. It has been. Dude, I'm telling you.
I think XRP probably is maybe, like, I guess you could go back to Bitcoin, but Hex definitely, when it comes to the MLM cult stuff, it's guaranteed. It's #1. Hex is #1. Like, they literally would go on tour of the country and rent out convention centers, and then
Yeah, but like XRP, people invest in it because they think it's going to be the money transfer wealth, of the world, right? It's going to be it's the fastest chain. Banks are going to be using it, right? No one's going to be using Hex. The only use case of Hex is you able to stake it and you're able to earn Hex, right? There is no so that's why I say it is the biggest, because there's you're not betting on the future like XRP people, and they're all idiots, right? I love the XRP army, but I mean, if you think banks are going to use XRP where they can get XRP, send it, and then whiff back into stables when really you can just use stables, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? Stables on Solana are just as fast as XRP. Right, it doesn't make any sense to me. But in that sense, like they still believe, and there's something there that's going to change the way the money market is, and Stripe's going to be using it. All this bullshit, right? But with Hex, there is nothing.
Yeah, well, no, they did.
You believe in Richard,
but they did definitely have selling points, in terms of staking and making more. I mean, it was a part of the whole deal, and they had like an army of a team that would go and speak and all those things. But to your point, I think when it came to that, like that kind of, and I'm not calling Hex an MLM, but they definitely had an MLM style that I think it was, and they were probably one of the best at that.
Yep. I mean, in 2022, they got Trayvon got arrested. Like, all these big, Hex KOLs got arrested. They all got released with no charges, but they were taken in for questioning, right? And then Richard Hart went on the run, and then there was rumors that he was being and stuff. I don't know. Mean, this guy has
if you go on the run, something, right?
Yeah, but now with the new administration, well, that's the thing too. He was targeted by Elizabeth Warren. He was targeted by Gary Gensler, right? So when those people are gone now, and then he stayed away for a reason. He hasn't gone live, nothing, for over 2 years now. But I think if he starts going live again, you might see a lot of these tokens pump. Honestly, I'm looking at PulseX. I'm looking at Pulse, and I'm like, damn, these could be insane discounts, because this man goes live in 2 days, like he said. I mean, these tokens could 10x, dude. And this is not me telling anyone to buy anything. Just for me, I'm trying to understand. I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out too, right? Because you got to remember, October of 2020 is when Hex dropped, right? Hex did a 10,000x from that date. And if we're just in the beginning of a bull run, who knows what the hell this Prove X token could do?
Yeah, I think another thing too is to pay attention if he does start going live, and pay attention to what happens, because if he's not able to create any momentum, then that's a big, telltale sign there that
100%
we just don't have. It was zeroed out. Our liquidity is zeroed out.
Yep, 100%. All right, let's get into some macro stuff here. So, growing divisions within the Fed over December rate cut. Some officials cite sticky inflation, tariff effects to argue for pause, while doves point to weak jobs and slowing demand. Thomas Carlo, he's somebody who reports on the macro stuff a lot. He had a tweet. He said 7 out of the 12 FOMC members support a 50 basis point rate cut. Right now, we're baking in potentially zero rate cut going into December, right? So we have, in about, I think it's Polymarket should say it. So December 10th, which is a month from today, a little under a month from today, they're saying a 73% chance of a cut here. So what do you think about this? Do you think potentially, we will get a cut, right? Because Polymarket says we are. And do you think it'll be potentially a 50 basis point cut? Do you think we can start seeing this number kind of go up from here?
I mean, yeah, I think we could start to see it go up. 73% at this point right now. It's tough. It's still higher.
Yeah.
It's still higher than the highest before our first cut in September that we had.
Yeah.
So up until September, I think the highest percentage that it got was 65. So that's a promising thing, right? So it's 73% before that, and 65 was the highest that it would not get cut though. It would actually start to flip. So 73% is a little bit low on the low end for me. I'd like to see this start to rise up, soon, because we're almost, a little over 2 weeks away from December starting, right? So I'm okay right now, but I'd like to see that number go up. 50 points. I don't think so. I still don't think we're going to get that.
I hope so. But yeah, 100%. I get it. A little part of me thinks that we might. I don't know.
I mean, hey, let's do it. I'm down for it. I just feel like J Powell ain't gonna let it ride. He ain't gonna push it through.
This guy says if it's live, do this. Do what, buddy? Do this? Yeah, we're live, man. We're definitely live here.
What is that? Rocks? I don't know.
Shout out Steveverse. It's been a while, man. What's up with Zap? Is it launching today? Yeah, we're gonna cover that in a little bit. I hope so. I don't know. But it looks like it's not even gonna be a launch pad. If it's not a launch pad, I think I have no interest in it at all. But yeah, we'll get into that. Rolling this. So myself says the timing for ProofX SAC is very similar to Hex here at the bottom. Dude, honestly, when Hex launched in October 2020, it felt like it did now for altcoins. By the time I was a Bitcoin maxi, so it felt good to me that Bitcoin was pumping and that nothing else really was, and Ethereum was dumping. But now looking back, I mean, Richard Hart might have his pulse on the market, dude.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, if he's unless he's in a situation that's of just desperation or something, if he's just coming back, that could be a sign that we're about to head into alt season. So that's why I said it's very important to pay attention when he goes live. Yeah. What are his mannerisms? Does he kind of pull the same situation he did last time, which was everybody's beneath me, but he did it in a way to I don't know, mesmerize everybody, I guess. But I remember the Gucci store videos. I remember all those videos too, though, right? So does he have that? Because I think it's a little different energy than that right now.
Well, it wasn't like that at first. When he first came out, in 2020 and started doing Hex videos, it was just him in a black t-shirt. He wasn't shiny. He did have a Hex necklace on and, a Rolex and stuff, but he wasn't flashy back then. That only really happened when Hex was on a verge of going from 5 cents to 50 cents, right? That's when he started that type of style of marketing. So we'll see. Moving along though, Sonic Labs shifts focus to sustainable growth, opening an office in New York City of all places, and increasing token burn. Sonic Labs is looking to introduce a fee monetization system that burns tokens while rewarding builders at the same time. So they want to take the fees, which is super low, and actually start burning some of this. So they're trying to come up with ideas right now to burn some of the Sonic away. I feel like every project, we saw Lido, we saw Uniswap, and now it's Sonic coming out. But how do you feel about Sonic actually opening up an office building in New York? Does that make them legit at this point?
I mean, I don't know what else it would kind of convey in terms of the perspective wise, yeah, I think so. Right. I mean, having an office in New York City. So I almost don't think that they care about the price right now. They probably are just trying to see how they can get integrated into being a big player in this new financial system. Right. Because last cycle, obviously, Andre, what's his last name? Conray. Condre. Okay, yeah, he, was really talented in what he built, and obviously they were like, it's the start of the Ponzi, but that's pretty much to the extent that he could really do, unless like he was trying to push into institutions at the time they didn't want anything to do with it. You know what I mean? So this is a different kind of time up at bat for him, right? It's like, okay, let's try to set this legit corporate structure. I think Uniswap has an office in New York as well, and a couple other crypto companies, right? So it's kind of like joining that kind of group as well. So let's see what happens with Sonic, because it's on discount, and it's been on discount for a minute.
I mean, it's at bear market lows. Like it was higher during the FTX crash, if that makes sense. Like it's absolutely insane how low Sonic is. It's around I want to say 15 cents, and this thing was like $3.50 at one point, right? This is like, it's down like 99.5%. Like it's pretty wild. I'm actually bullish on Sonic. I'm bullish on Andre. I'm bullish on the Flying Tulip, which is going to be this centralized, decentralized platform. Well, it's going to be centralized, but there's going to be decentralized aspects of it. So when you're using, exactly Hyperliquid. He's building that, but he's actually going to be doing stuff inside of that where borrowing and lending. So he's basically like, when you think of Hyperliquid and you think of Endgame for Hyperliquid, he's actually building that with Flying Tulip right away. So when Flying Tulip drops, it's going to have borrowing and lending. It's going to have everything you can possibly imagine, all from one platform. And there's going to be centralized aspect of that too. But he's actually going to try to decentralize everything the best he can. But he wants to make it fast and productive. So we'll see if they can come with that. But it's going to be on the Sonic blockchain, right? They built Sonic for a reason. They built Sonic for these fast-paced DJ. And Sonic's one of the fastest chains you'll ever use. It's insanely fast, thanks to Andre. But we'll see what comes from that. You can be the fastest chain in the world, but unless you have users, it doesn't matter. So see if users come. Next thing is really interesting. So Circle is exploring launching its own native token on Arc Network. So Arc is their non-EVM, non-layer 2 chain that they're building. Circle, they said the gas token is going to be USDC, but now they're actually considering having an ARC token for governance, because they are seeing a window right now that basically says, you have a couple years to decentralize this. So they'll have potentially the whole Trump administration to decentralize this and kind of get this thing going. But how do you feel about Circle kind of wanting to disassociate the chain from the company? And how do you think the shareholders feel about that now?
That was the first thing that came to my mind. I think that the shareholders, unless they receive some type of dividend, maybe from just having having shares in TradFi, and if you want a dividend, create a wallet on the chain, et cetera, and then do some sort of fee dividend drop or something, right? Then I think that can maybe satisfy them. But if not, I think the shareholders would want them to kind of really truly have a clean cut separation between the two. Right. And I don't know how you do that, but these guys are really, good at what they do in TradFi, and that's the whole reason why they went public, right? And so I think they'll come up with the right solution. If they launch a token, they did it for a reason, and that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the token's going to have governance. So you owning, 51% of the supply, whether it's you or multiple entities, right? You basically are saying, that, hey, whatever happens on the chain, we don't want, you can't blame this on us. It's decentralized. I think a lot of places want to do that. So let's just say some a-hole comes up there and he does something on the chain. They're not liable for that, right? Because it's a decentralized mechanism. And and they're not, they don't want to be like the sole power saying we're going to block that account or we're going to freeze that account. They want it to be voted on, right? So the entire chain is giving access to this, but that opens up a possibility of an airdrop. So the ARC public testnet is now live as of the 29th of October, and a lot of people are saying, hey, if you want to get this airdrop, load up this wallet, start using the testnet. and start messing around with it, because potentially you're going to get an airdrop. And we did see with, XPL, which was the Tether chain, we saw if you deposited any real money on mainnet before the token was airdropped, you got like 10,000 tokens. I think it was like 9,600 tokens for free. And at one point, those tokens were trading for like $1.80 a piece. So you walked away with a pretty penny if you sold at the right time. Do you think ARK is going to do anything like that as well? And do you think it's worth maybe depositing in the early days once they go to mainnet?
I don't know if they will, but I'm depositing. I'm going to deposit. I'm going to deposit probably just like $100 just in case, because I can always pull it out. So I'm just going to deposit that just in case. I'm so mad that I didn't deposit on XPL, because I mean, goodness gracious, that's like a free 18 grand at one point.
Yeah.
For just deposit, you can deposit $5.
And a lot of people were using that money to buy Trillions, which is the first meme coin, and they all freaking 50x'd. Like, it was absolutely insane. Do you think there's going to be some degen stuff over there? Because if they want to decentralize a chain, they're not going to stop people from loading up smart contracts and kind of letting things roll, because they're going to want users, right? They got to show their shareholder users.
And that's exactly what happened to XPL. XPL is powered by Tether. Tether is a stable coin, so it's almost a very similar situation. Actually, that's what made me was just like, I'm definitely depositing money on there. But yeah, I mean, someone can whip up a quick launch pad, right, and just probably just fork the one from XPL. If this is EVM or whatever, just put it on there.
It's not EVM. That's the problem. Yeah.
Well, someone will figure out how to do just a quick launch pad, I think. I don't think it's going to be sustained, just kind of like XPL, just go on there, try to win some money and then get off.
I'll tell you what, though, when XPL goes up like 15%, Trillions goes up like 150%. So, I mean, it's one of those things where the number one meme coin could do well continuously. So, let's move along, though. Polymarket just announced it's now exclusive prediction market partner for Yahoo Finance. So we do know that they've partnered with a lot of people at this point, KOLs, but they also, I think PayPal is another one of them, right? So how do you think of Polymarket right now? They're really taking over the mindshare of a lot of these bigger companies, Yahoo, PayPal. And do you think Kalshi has a chance at this point? I mean, I think DraftKings is also using No, I think it's the other one. There's one of them that's using Polymarket as well.
I think Kalshi definitely has, they're actually leading, I think, in terms of
in the US. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but that matters a lot. And so I do think that the DraftKings and stuff like that are kind of just, it's almost like you can't really be mad at yourself, because predictions markets wasn't really like a hot thing before Polymarket really. But I feel like they're definitely like feeling like they're losing their market share, even though they're just like straight up betting, because everything you can do with the sports book, pretty much you can do with Polymarket or Kalshi now, and then way more, right? Because the prediction market side. So that's who I think is more concerned about what's happening here, because now you don't just have one monster, you got a two-headed dragon now that you have to try to slay in Kalshi and Polymarket. Kalshi and Polymarket I don't think they're like going at each other's throats right now. They're just trying to make it like kind of the defaulted way to bet, and so there's like, divide and conquer type of situation almost, right? But it is the exciting part of this is that, they are known for Web3 companies, but someone did put on crypto Twitter, I forgot who it was, yesterday or the day before, and said, I'm trying to figure out what blockchain Kalshi uses. And I didn't know. Like, I don't know if they use Base or if they use anything. We know Polymarket obviously uses Polygon, but they're going to extend that to other ones. But that is kind of the state of what that market is like right now with prediction markets. They're just conquering.
I think Polymarket needs Kalshi, right? Because like, you don't want to get into the area of being the monopoly, right? So you want somebody there that's like 30%, right? You don't want them being 50, but you want them to be 30%, just so no one can say, hey, look at these guys, they're cornering the market here. Let's do something. Let's bring them in Congress, blah, blah, blah. If you bring them into Congress, you got to bring Kalshi, right? So you can't say they're a monopoly right now. And if they do take over all sports betting, they're gonna need other companies to kind of try to figure it out as well, because you don't want to be the sole point your finger at them. They're the bad guy. You want there to be multiple.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why they're okay with the current situation. And I don't know that if they are or not, but I would assume that they're okay until it is so big that it can't be stopped type of situation, right? And with two big players like that, you can get there.
100%. Zap launches today. Zap is the product from Leonidas. He says every coin, every chain, every meme in your pocket, the easiest way to buy crypto launches tomorrow, which is today. This was posted yesterday, but you go to their website and it is right now, it is just about 12 p.m. Eastern time, and we're not seeing anything yet here. I don't know if they put out a tweet, but what do you think about Zap? Are you preparing for this? Because like I only am going to use this is if there's a launch pad. If there's no launch pad, I'm not even gonna. This is gonna be in the back of my head. I don't care about the older runes. I want new shit. I want new. That's just kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to use it because I want to get a feel of it. But I'm also wondering, what if the launch pad is going to happen, what kind of coins are they going to be launching, right? And what because this could be something big in terms of Zap. It could be something big in terms of Zap. And then I think in turn, it could be something big for Dog if this really catches fire, right? And runes, because now these normies that they're trying to onboard or whatever are like, it's the easiest way to get there, right? How's it going to interact with market caps and stuff like that with already established? I'm curious about that. And obviously it's just, more buyers and sellers, price goes up. That's the concept, right? But then the launchpad part, if that is true, and I don't know, did you hear that somewhere? Because I think you were talking that initially that you thought there could be a launchpad.
Yeah, so they worded it a few different ways. They worded it when this launches and when token launches, right? So it was one of those things where it's kind of like that might be something that comes later, but I feel like if you don't have that, then what's the point? Like, why am I going to download this app, sign up for Privy, right? Put up my email address, get in there, and then just so I can swipe right on tokens that are 2 years old that just have been just down only up until like this month. It just doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, why would I use this app if I'm not already buying tokens already? And right now there is no normies in the space, right? There's no normies here. No normies are downloading this app in the next month or so to buy Dog, right? That it's technically it's going to be on Solana it's going to use the Solana pool, so you're buying bridge to Dog. It's not even real layer one.
Yeah,
Dog.
but
I just
normies don't care. Normies don't care about that last part.
There's no normies buying though. That's
no,
the problem.
So, but with the bridge part, like they don't. If they do buy, they won't care about that because they don't know enough about it. But where I think it could come into play right now, since you were kind of questioning it, is people within the Dog community trying to get people to buy that they know and say, hey, it's real easy. Just download the Zap app. I'll show you how to do it.
Kraken.
I know, but like for them, they like Leonidas, and so they're kind of like, okay, well, this will be the Dog app. You know what I mean? And so they can, push it that way, I guess, and so this is a way that I think normies could onboard that way. I don't know how many you can get because I'm sure they've already tried to get their friends to buy Dog already for the past like year, probably. But more than anything, this could be an opportunity for Leonidas, as a business too, with the fees, and you can buy any token, any chain, he says. So,
yeah. We'll see, but if there's no launchpad, I think this is going to be hyped up for a week, and then no one talks about it going into December. But we'll see. All right, UK reform leader Nigel Farage promises to create a Bitcoin reserve if elected prime minister. So they have an election coming up here, and we're seeing actually people come out and say, hey, if I'm elected, I'm going to push for a Bitcoin reserve. Trump did the same thing. We're about 11 months into Trump's term here, and we don't see a Bitcoin reserve. So you think this is just a ploy to get votes here, or do you think he's actually serious about this?
I think he would probably be held accountable for that. The UK, right? But he promises to create a Bitcoin reserve. I'm not sure if Trump promised to create a reserve, but he did say that he was
there in Nashville.
Huh? I know he talked about it. I don't remember exactly what his words were. That's why I'm saying that. But I
I'll
think the people.
create a crypto stockpile. Wasn't his
Okay,
exact words.
so that's not a Bitcoin reserve specifically, but the UK people that would be voting for him would definitely, try to hold him accountable, just like the Bitcoiners on crypto
Yeah,
Twitter were like upset about it, right? So
100%. All right, Flashnet put out a tweet yesterday. They said alpha in the screenshot. So we know a lot of people, me and you in particular, are waiting for Flashnet to put something out here, and they finally did something. They put out a Polymarket bet, and that Polymarket bet is alpha in the screenshot. Me and you looked through this thing with a microscope, trying to figure out what the alpha is, and the only thing that we saw here is November 17th. Today is November 12th. We do know the 17th is Monday. What do you think about this? Do you think Flashnet launches on Monday?
I'm kind of annoyed with it because I did a screenshot and I circled November 17th with green on my screenshot thing, and I posted it, and I actually posted it for like 5 seconds. I deleted it because I thought that it said 2025 on there.
Yeah.
But I do think that was the hint. I mean, that gives us Monday, and I think many people were hoping for next week, and it would be great to kind of start the week off that way, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to say they open up around 6 p.m. 6 p.m. has been their time. I know it's 3 p.m. Pacific, so that could be it too. But I'm actually expecting this to launch Monday at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I think they know they have an opportunity, and
Yeah.
this goes back to the people that are leading that company from at the highest level of Spark with David Marcus. He understands time lines and opportunities, and it's opportunities when things happen within that specific time, right? And so he knows that there's people that are interested in using it, and it's going to
Yeah.
be a great showcase for Spark in general, and to the point where he flew everybody out to Southern California or wherever they are,
Yeah.
put them up in hotels, and you got 3 different teams of developers trying to solve this problem. So I am excited. I think a lot of people are excited for this to go live again. Let's hope that it stays and sustains.
That's the problem, right? Is if they can stay up. But I mean, they said the only problem they were having was making sure they're able to get a million transactions like happening right without no bugs. So they basically redid the system. They said they originally built it not thinking they felt like they could scale in time, but they realized that they had to scale now, and that's what the delay was. They're actually scaling their servers to be able to handle that much throughput. And will this get paused? But that's the thing too. I think if they were able to stay open for about 6 to 7 hours, I feel like it would come down drastically. I just feel like even last time after like 40 minutes of it being up, I felt like kind of bored of it at that point because I had my bags, right? I wasn't really like trying to sell anymore. I was just trying to hold, and I felt like once we get to a certain point, it's going to scale. It's going to slow down drastically. So I feel like they might have some high moments and some low moments, but I feel like if they can just stay up for like 6 hours, I think they can be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody is wanting, right? I mean, and I think that the demand for it was really good. So there's a lot of promise to it.
Exactly. I mean, it's a Bitcoin L2, and it's the only real Bitcoin L2, right? In the sense of using the Lightning Network, right? And even the Maxis like Lightning Network. The Maxis love the Lightning Network. This could bring a lot of value to Spark and the Lightning Network. We'll see. All right. Let's kind of get into the Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles. I'm actually curious to see how you feel about this. And if you tell us that we're going under 100K, I'm out. I'm just gonna turn my camera off. I'm gonna leave. Just don't do it.
You're gonna leave.
I'm gonna leave. I'm just done. I'm done. No, just kidding. But I'm really hoping you give me some bullish stuff here.
All right, let's take a look. Hopefully I can, but before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us. Also subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on. All that great stuff. And then on the X side, share the space. That will help us out a ton. But let's jump into some Bitcoin price action, guys. Let's take a look here. All right. Starting with the hour chart, which does not look good at all. Sorry, but we got to start off this way, man. You can see that we had the correction from last night, and the MACD is showing, look, we're starting the sell pressure, right? So, probably expect for the next 2-4 hours that we're going to, range back and forth between 100K to 103. If it that's if it doesn't have a bleed out to break down below 100. We're just getting started. So, I can't really, I will say it doesn't look great. And it does look like there's probability that we do break down, below 100K. But let's see if we can kind of sustain and tread water here. Because if you do go back to, about 4 hours ago, you can see, this right here, it's very low volume, but the support is kicking in a little bit, and above this area here. So we do have some hope. But if we break down below here, we'll see how it happens, because right now we just started sell pressure, and we need to find out if we're going to go in a free flow or not. The $100,000 mark, we did break down below it last week, and it could happen again. It's not going to concern me because I think it's going to be very, very short term price action, but it's a possibility, guys. And then we go into the 4 hour here. 4 hour looks like it just went back into sell pressure, right? So you can see this is actually giving kind of support to what I said. Probably will break down below 100,000 because this looks like it still wants to continue downwards, right, on the 4 hour chart there. The one chart that really is like I really hate that this happened was the daily, because it looked like we were going to come out, and it's basically going into a reversal, right? So if we do end today below 100K, we'll be officially in a reversal. Maybe the rest of this week might be just choppy with under 100,000. But let's see how the rest of today plays out, right? Because that's going to be really important to see if we have a strong kind of, I guess, continuation of the sell pressure session, or if it's just kind of a fake out to the downside. As of right now, it definitely looks like we are having a continuation here. And then the weekly, I've been kind of showing that 50-week SMA here, and it's really important. I keep emphasizing this, that we stay above this line here to finish the week. So it is the midweek right now. So I really hope that if we do pull back, then we have some sort of rebound in the next day and a half or heading into the weekend, and we finish Sunday above this mark, which is right at the 10, right under the 103 price point there. So yeah, so that is Bitcoin for you guys there. Probably some more bleed down, but lately it's been really hard to tell which way it wants to go, right? It's kind of it will kind of reverse to the opposite side of the pendulum that it did the day before. Ethereum, very similar situations. Actually has a little bit of a lead with the sell pressure with the MACD here, you can see, but it's really going to just follow Bitcoin. I mean, I know I keep saying that every day, but that's what's happening with Ethereum, right? I mean, there's no other way to put it. And it's not going to front run. It's in terms to the upside, and even to the downside. If it does, it's going to be minimal, in my opinion, right? So it's really just kind of waiting on Bitcoin to see where it wants to head, and then heading into the crypto bubbles. It's going to be. Yeah, it's like 95%, 97% pullback here. On average, you can see it's around 5 to 9%, 5 to 7% around there for most of the major tokens here. The blue chips, you do see some one-off situations. AB up 21.6%. You got CC up 6.5%. Meme core up 2% there. Starknet having a pretty drastic pullback, 15.3%. Pengu pulling back 7%. Uniswap pulling back 13.7%. They had a pretty big uptick yesterday with that governance voting news there. Wilfi pulling back 7.3%. Aster, out of everybody's pulling up a little bit here, so that's interesting. Back to $1.10. So congrats to those people that were stuck in Aster if you were able to exit that, but it's at 110 there. Then you look at the top 200. Hex is down 17%. PulseX as well, 17%. You talked a little bit about that earlier. Or PulseX 16%, and then Pulse here at 17.4. You got Core, which is a Bitcoin layer 2, down 9.5%. And then Zeno up 26.5%. Fartcoin down 10%. Sitting at 27 cents there. Linea up 3.3%. But yeah, on average, guys, we're looking at about like I said, 5 to 7% for most of these major tokens here with a pullback. But that's okay. Yesterday we did have a pull up, right? So it's kind of just, we'll see how the rest of today plays out with Bitcoin, and maybe we kind of get a bounce back tomorrow. We'll see.
Yep. I'm really hoping for a bounce back. I think when the government opens today, I think a lot of things does change in people's mindset, and I'm hoping we get CPI tomorrow. I think if that goes through tonight, maybe we'll get it tomorrow. There is an asterisk when you look at something like MW, which is Market Watch. I don't know if you guys ever check that out, but something I look at daily is the Market Watch, and it does show that we're getting CPI year over year tomorrow. There's an asterisk though. Initial jobless claims as well. I'm hoping we get both of those on Thursday. Yeah, so which is tomorrow. So yeah, man. Friday the 14th, we are getting PPI, so hopefully we get that as well. But we haven't got PPI since September, so we will see. We will see. But let's kind of get into the roll call where we go through every comment. This is the part where we kind of look in. If you have any questions or anything, put them in the chat now, and we will be checking those out for sure. But first is first on this show. We take the first comment of the day. We track it on a spreadsheet. And congratulations to the one and only Hydro Sapien, win number 6 on the year. Congratulations to you. You got that first one right here. So shout out to you, my friend. And then in second place, we got Arita says inflation is collapsing. Rents way down. Yeah, I agree, dude. I see it too. I was actually asked my sister who does real estate here in Pennsylvania, and she was basically telling me too. She said, interest rates are dropping too, because these banks, they can't get people for 4% anymore. So you got to remember right now, from bank to bank, it's about I want to say about 3.75 or something like that. And so for a bank, they can cheapest they can get somebody is like 4 to 5%. And if you depending on your credit, they're getting for 6%. So people that were normally they get them for 6%, they're giving them now for like 4.5 because they just they're just not doing mortgages right now. So even if you don't have like the best credit, you can still get like a mortgage for like 4.5%. So which is crazy.
That's crazy to get that right now.
I know. So it just shows you there's no demand. There's no demand. People aren't selling right now. People aren't buying right now. So, but my sister did say spring is technically they do more volume in the spring than they do the rest of the year. So that could be something as well. Maybe it goes back up when the spring comes around. So, but shout out to WebDro. Shout out to WebDro. OnePlus ad is here. Merlin's Lucky is here. Bitcoin is Truth is here. My guy. Chips and Dip. K99. Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy who created Bitcoin, watches the show every day. Love the show. Underrated. Thank you, sir. Spindrift is here. Super fan. What a GM. My guy. Appreciate you every single day. Stan the man. We love Stan on this show. He said Hex is back. Hopefully it bounces back. Steve versus what's up with Zap? Yeah, I think it's launching today. I'm actually going to be really hoping that it's a launch pad. Steve Verse, my guy. He said I am very behind. Stan says, is Richard Hart larger than Charles Hockinson? I think Richard Hart has more money.
I think it does he?
Ooh, I mean, he has that 4 billion sacrificed.
True. I think he might have more influence too. When he's like in the space, right? When he's in the space. Yeah,
I think Richard Hart speaks more to the degens, and Charles Hockinson speaks more like to the level 1 crypto guys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we got Artenert. That's a tough name. He said, if this is live, do this. We're doing this. Hydro Sapien is here. Mike, the timing for the Prove X SAC is very similar to Hex at the bottom of others. Yeah, 100%, dude. ASAP Benji is here. GM. Shout out to ASAP Benji. Myself says, when the stimmies get sent out, the normies will come back. Yeah, we'll see. I hope so. Jacob Donahue says 98K strong support pump. So he says at 98K, we potentially could see a pump. I don't want to see 98K again.
Yeah, but you have to remember, like, whenever it does swing like that, it did go below 90 or 100K. What was it, last week or the week before? And so there's that possibility until we get fully out, which, maybe that's at the end of this month. But I do think that's going to be sooner than maybe some people think. I do think that's going to happen probably towards the end of this month, maybe the beginning of December, to where we get that consistency that we're all talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Jacob Donahue is here. It's been a while, and he says thoughts on Monad. I've been full swing Monad. So I have an uneducated opinion on Monad. I really just haven't been somebody who's been digging in over there. Probably should though. Do you have any opinions, or have you looked into Monad at all?
Not in terms of like what they're gonna be known for and stuff like that, right? But the only thing I know about them is they did a really strong KOL campaign, and people are bullish on them. You have like dApps from other chains that are bullish on them. Trader Joe is an example. You've been waiting for mainnet for a long time, and I think they're gonna have a DEX there.
Yeah, 100%. KM says Richard Hart made 600 million. So maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn it was billions, or maybe the SAC wallet just had billions of dollars of Ethereum. I don't really know. But he said Richard Hart made 600 million off of the sacrifice and recently sent theirs through Tornado Cash. So do you think he might be doing something with that money with this new project as well? I didn't think about that. He's sitting on potentially, I mean, from KM's standpoint, $600 million. I mean, $500,000 so far raised over there. Do you think he starts dumping money into there?
He could. I think it's weird that he's like kind of doing this new thing, but maybe there's like I know he's trying to separate like a lot of what he did before with it, but maybe it all ties together in the long term. And like you said, he's looking for loyalty, which is, I think that's weird. Just is a weird thing for me. You know what I mean? That like, but he is the type of personality that does weird stuff.
Dude, that's the definition of a cult leader.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
It's like if
is that good though?
No, that's terrible. But I think it's the worst thing in the world. I think cults are terrible.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Shizzy. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
I might drink a little of it though, just enough, right? Just enough.
Even a little bit, you won't wake up.
All right, and that's our show today, guys. Very short show, not a lot of news, but turnout today was
amazing,
absolutely amazing. I think it was your title, bro. I think the American.Fun guys showed up here. Just the Hex guys showed up here as well. Absolutely awesome. Really appreciate every single one of you guys, and we're here every single day. But yeah, definitely check out our partners, and just thankful for everyone who watched today.
Absolutely. Without you guys, we could not do this show. And, you know, we're passionate about this and we love to do it. So keep watching because we want to keep doing it. But like I said, without you guys, we couldn't do it. We're very appreciative of that. But also without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate that. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem and other ecosystems. But if you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or NFTs like Rare Pepes over to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. They have been doing it forever, since back in 2021. You can actually jump your Taproot Wizard ordinal over to Gandhi, which is the borrowing and lending application, the largest one on Ethereum, and you can take a loan out against it, right? The Emblem team has been talking about opening this up to other EVM environments as well, and other environments in general, and Solana is one of those places. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem with agenthustle.ai. You can use Hustle to find low cap gems for you. There's actually a free subscription level. It is very, very minimal prompts and tool sets, but if you want the higher ones, there is paid subscriptions, and it's pretty cheap. So, and if you use the Hustle token, which is the single token that powers their entire ecosystem, you get a discount, right? But Hustle will find some gems for you and tell you why he thinks that these are good gems, right, in the Solana ecosystem. Also, there's conditional trading built in Hustle. You know, so you can do some buy and sell limit orders for these meme coins on Solana, or any coin on Solana, really. And not just Solana, by the way. They partnered with the Hedera Foundation. So this is, you know, integrated into HBAR, right? So if you want some early research on the meme coins over there or any coins over there, you can get into Hustle and he'll bring back some research for you. And they enabled the conditional trading as well for Hedera. And I know that's going to be heavily used because there's a lot of institutional minded people over there, right? So definitely check it out. They're going to open this up to other EVMs as well, you know, BSC and Ethereum and stuff like that. So just make sure you're up to date with their latest updates, and you can get that from us or following them on their X account. But head over to emblem.vision. I did forget about one product that they are just crushing it with, and it's migrate.fun. If you launched a token on PumpFun or Bonk.fun or any launchpad on Solana, and you want to migrate to the other launchpad or manage your own LPs, you can do so through migrate.fun. They'll walk you through the process. They're in their second cohort. The first cohort went amazing. Second one's going very smooth right now. Some big brands in these cohorts as well. Pay AI is one of them. But yeah, they can, you know, break down exactly what you need to do. So reach out to their team at migrate.fun or emblem.vision, and you can learn about all the products I broke down for you guys there. And then Merlin Chain is building AI with Bitcoin with their Wizard version 2.0 that can actually trade cross-chain. As long as you have Merlin Bitcoin in your Merlin wallet, you can actually swap for Solana tokens or BSC tokens as well, right? So their AI agent is awesome as well. It can actually guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem. It can do DeFi functionalities for you. It can do DeFi swaps and staking. And speaking of staking, they use a proof of stake security model. right? And you can participate in 3 ways. The first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. And the first staking vault ended September 30th. They got 17% on average. Imagine that, staking Bitcoin and earning 17% in Bitcoin, by the way. And the second staking vault already started, but it ends January 8th. So you can still get in until then. They're going to be shooting for the same amount of APR for this one, minimum 8%, maximum 21%. So make sure you are taking advantage of that. And then 2 other options is with the Merlin Chain token. You can stake with the flexible day-to-day. And the day-to-day, you earn 15% APR. It does take 7 days when you withdraw, though, because there's a cooldown period that they have for that. But you can actually claim your rewards every single day, roll them up into a compound interest, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. And then the last option is the 6-month bonded option. You earn 45% APR, but you can claim your rewards daily. So that's pretty awesome, right? But make sure you head over to merlinchain.io to check out all the details there and follow them on X as well, as they have updates constantly. And thank you guys for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always. And guys, have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io. It's some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really fulfill you how to get started and caught up to where we are today. Brand new article just dropped today, all about America.fun. If you want to learn about the newest launchpad on Solana, actually by the USD1 team or the WillFi team, definitely check out this article. It will take you in depth. These reads are about 4 to 5 minute reads, depending on how fast or slow you are. I'm on the slow side, so about 4 minutes, but I'm sure a lot of you guys can knock it out in 2. And then we have a whole bunch of other articles here as well. Check them all out. HTTP, all about the X402 narrative and everything else. Check out everything else here. If you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. I use it every single day. Right now, Black Friday discount, you guys can get it for $2.99. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. You get the extra 3 months, 27 months. You won't have to worry about having a VPN. You'll always have it. Why would you need a VPN? Well, first off, you don't want to give your IP address to these companies. A lot of these crypto companies, they're not trustworthy, right? Especially the ones you're just going to check out. You have really no plans to put any money in, but you just want to check them out just to make sure you're knowledgeable. And now they have your IP address, they know exactly where you live. With a VPN, they don't get that, because you can put yourself in Italy, you can put yourself in France, you can put yourself in Mexico, anywhere you want. I like to use Italy. It's kind of where I've been using for my VPN. And on top of that, you're able to use stuff like Hyperliquid and Mexi, something I use every single day as well. I love Mexi. I love Hyperliquid, but I can only use them if my VPN is turned on. So I highly recommend you guys getting a VPN. And our last thing here is our store. We are discontinuing the store as of this weekend. So your last opportunity to get any of this merch is now. So we're going to get rid of the store here. It's just not doing, everyone's broke right now. So we might bring it back this next year or something. But right now, there's no reason for us to keep paying our third-party service to kind of keep this alive. So, but if you do want any of this stuff, hats, shirts, jackets, hoodies, and so much more, check everything out here at OnChainRevolution.io. Remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.